Hey, Sorcerers, Jeff Clark, Sorcerer's Apprentice, and my good friend Jenny Hunt. Welcome to day one of the Q4 Hangover Summit. Now, all 12 videos are available through the whole 3-day summit, but Jenny and I wanted to feature just a few people each day because we're so excited. These people are so smart and they just have some amazing things. So today, we want to talk about, first of all, Danny Ackerman. She's my very good friend, known her for years. Danny and I created the Proven eBay course together, and she's just got so much energy and drive. She is selling on a platform that is totally different. Like we talk about Amazon and eBay a lot, and people talk about, oh, I do Walmart and Etsy and Shopify and all these other things. Danny sells on YouTube. Like, I personally don't know anyone else who sells on YouTube. Do you, Jenny?
I don't know anybody personally. I've seen a couple people do that, and it's an interesting platform. No fees. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to that, but yeah, that's pretty cool what she's doing.
Yeah, for sure. Danny talks a lot in there about time management. She's got a really good schedule for her business, and she shares that with us in her talk. And I was really impressed.
Yeah, I really like Danny. Of course, she's known mostly for her eBay stuff, but really that was not the focus of her talk at all. And she did bring a lot of really great tips. She has a lot on her plate and she schedules her time really well. And so there's a lot to be learned from her, and she's been doing this a long time. So
oh my gosh, yeah, for sure.
Excited to share that.
Yeah. The next speaker we want to feature is Chris Anderson. Chris is a good friend of mine, and he does an amazing business in Pennsylvania. And he's really, really good at working smarter and not harder. He'll tell you he's lazy, but don't believe him. That guy gets it done, and he gets it done. He puts good people around him to do what needs to be done, and he just has some really, really good tips about that and about avoiding burnout. Primarily, Chris talked about really you could tell listening to him that he really, really enjoys what he's doing.
Yes. And I didn't know Chris. So it was, in fact, I got to know a lot of your friends that I didn't know before. So this was kind of fun. But one of the things that really struck me with him was that he does have a lot of fun with what he's doing. And that's really an important component for him to not burn out. And but he just dropped a bunch of gold too. Lots of tips for how to work smarter, not harder, like you just said. But I think one of those is that he knows how to have fun and brings that into his goals and into his why and all of that to motivate him and keep him going. So good stuff, lots of good stuff from Chris.
Yeah, for sure. Listening to him, I almost wanted to move to Pennsylvania and work for him. Right. So, yeah. So the next speaker we want to feature is Jimmy Smith. A lot of you know Jimmy Smith from the Proven Replens model. And of course, he talks a lot about replens and how they work over Q4 and throughout the whole year. And the one thing I really appreciated about Jimmy is, he talks about it. When a lot of us, when we think of replens, it's like the same thing all the time. Well, Jimmy really has some great tips about having a reason to be excited, and discovering why you're doing what you're doing. You're not just buying stuff and selling stuff. Like there's a reason underneath it. Right. And Jimmy really helps us focus on that, and so we can get pumped about what we're doing.
And I think that one of the things is that he addressed that I really appreciated was that a lot of people don't want to be selling on Amazon for the rest of their business life. It's for another reason. And so he really gave some incredible actionable tips for how to bolt down a replens business, even really how to bolt down the replens business, about your Amazon business, and how to shift to a VA. He gave some very practical advice. If you're thinking, yes, I want to be, moving in that direction, he gave very, very practical advice for how you can start making that shift and preparing for that even before you're ready to pass things on to a VA. So if you're in that position, you're thinking that's where you want to go, don't miss Jimmy's presentation in that video. It was again, just gold. dropped gold left and right. So
Agreed. Yeah. And the last speaker we want to feature is Jim Cockrum, who is my personal business mentor. My gosh, I've known Jim for, wow, almost 14 years. And if it wasn't for him, there would be no Sourcer's Apprentice, you guys.
yeah.
And Jim is always like every time I hear him talk anywhere, and even when he and I just talk personally, he's talking about relationship. And you can tell he talks a lot in this video about the community, building the community and how they operate together. And you can just tell that his passion is not selling stuff, on Amazon or eBay or wherever. His passion is people.
Yeah.
And just that really, really comes out in his talk.
Yes. And he talks about that value and giving ownership to the community, and how he does that, and how important that is to him to create those win-win-wins. One of the things that he said was, you get to see, when you're part of a community, you get to see that you're part of a bigger picture. And I think that is so key for us in business as an entrepreneur. Sometimes it's easy to think we've got to sell every product to everybody. We've got to do everything ourselves. We've got to be everything to everybody that's out there, and we don't. And when you're a part of a community and really focus more on that relationship, you get to see that you just bring a piece, and that's actually very valuable and a good place for you to just stay in that lane, and let other people bring their pieces as well. And it's not a competition. It's really a community. And anyway, yes, of course, Jim had so much value that he brought. He always brings the value on. Loved everything that he had to say. So don't miss that one either.
Agreed. So those are our featured speakers for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hey, Sorcerers, Jeff Clark, Sorcerer's Apprentice, and my friend Jenny Hunt. Welcome to day 2 of the Q4 Hangover Summit. Like we promised yesterday, all the videos are available through the entire summit, but we want to highlight just a few speakers every day because they really deserve to be talked about.
Yes.
We can't just dump them in a pile and say, hey, here's a bunch of people to listen to. No way. Each one of these people could do a seminar all on their own. So today we have a few speakers to feature, and the first one is my good friend Andy Slamans. Oh my gosh. Andy will blow your mind. Andy does private label, and I think he said last year he did $12 million.
Isn't that incredible?
Amazon?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that truly blows my mind. So as you can imagine, somebody who runs an 8-figure business is going to have a lot of wisdom, and that's definitely a session that you need to listen to. Andy had some great stuff about building your team and setting aside, time for goals. And it's just really good stuff.
Really good. And one of the things with Andy, and actually he wasn't the only one, but January or Q4 didn't seem to be his like crazy season.
Right.
And so he's usually planning during Q4 for the rest of the year. So that was good. And he had a lot of great tips. He also has 25 full-time VAs. So he brings that wisdom in as well. Don't miss Andy's interview, the presentation. Again, just so much wisdom, lots of gems just dropped left and right. You want to really glean from that, and goal setting, all the things. He brings it to the table. All the things.
Yeah, good stuff. The next speaker we want to feature is Perry and Kim Coughlin. And they are just amazing. They are an amazing team.
Yeah.
If you do this business with your spouse or even with a partner who's not your spouse, this is definitely a session that you want to watch, because Perry and Kim not only have a marriage and a business together, they have 12 children, 13 children.
I think it was 13.
13 children together. Now, that doesn't happen. You don't just have kids and then go run a business and say, okay, kids, take care of yourselves. Oh my gosh, they are so systematized.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're systematized in their family, but we didn't get into family stuff because it's a business conference. Maybe they'll be in a family conference next. I don't know. But the amazing ideas that they had for systematizing your business, oh my gosh, everybody can benefit from that.
Absolutely. I was really impressed with them. I didn't know them beforehand. And it was just a joy to listen to what they brought to the table. Like you said, systems and processes. One of the things that really struck me was that, so they have a whole team of shoppers. So if you're interested in moving your business towards that model where you want to build out a team, I really recommend making sure you pay attention to their presentation. But one of the things that they said was that they set a minimum budget for their shoppers, a minimum weekly budget for their shoppers. And that just really struck me. We were talking right before, and Jeff, you're like, most people, you'd think they'd set a maximum. Don't spend more than this amount, there's a cap on your credit, or, a cap on your gift card, or whatever it is that you're giving your shoppers to go shop with. But they say spend at least this much. And that's just a mind shift, right? It's a mind shift of the more you spend, the more you're buying, the more you're feeding the beast, the more return you're going to get, right? So that really spoke volumes to me. They have a non-seasonal business as well. So, but yeah, systems and processes and building out that team, real practical advice. Excellent. It was really good to get to know them. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good stuff. The next speaker we want to talk about is Greg Perry. I love Greg so much. He's a really good friend, and he has so much wisdom, and his platform is eBay, and his whole presentation is why eBay is the best platform. So if you sell on eBay, you need to watch this. If you don't sell on eBay, you probably need to watch this, because Greg really lays out the gold, and he not only explains like, okay, eBay's good because of this and this, but he teaches how to get better ranking on eBay. And it's not what you think.
Right.
Everybody comes in with these details of, oh, well, this will get better. But Greg teaches you how to do what eBay wants you to do.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And it is brilliant. And there's two things that he says, and I'm not going to give them away, but there's 2 tips that he gives that you can implement right now if you're looking to start on eBay, or if you're already selling on eBay, that will it'll make a big difference in your eBay business. Now, let me just say this one thing. If you're not selling on eBay and you watch this, you're going to want to sell on eBay. That's what's going to happen. I started on eBay years and years ago, burned out, long story that I'm not getting into, but it will take a lot for me to get back on eBay, just because I think I have some PTSD from, I was doing it back before we had all the tools, before we had smartphones, and it was difficult, and I had littles. So, all of that contributed to me kind of not really wanting to go there again. But Greg, he made me want to get back on eBay. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. The other thing that he said that really caught me, Jeff, was that he never touched on pricing. He never talked about how to set your pricing. His tips don't have anything to do with that. So a lot of times we think, oh, I need to lower my price, or I need to up my price, or something that had nothing to do. It never even came up in his presentation. At the end, I asked him about it, because I'm like, hey, you didn't even talk about it. And he's very intentional about it. So anyway, excellent presentation by Greg about eBay. If you're selling on eBay or not, go watch it. Really good stuff there.
Right. Good stuff. And the last speaker I want to feature today is Caleb Roth. I know I keep saying my very good friend, but Caleb is my very good friend. Like, we live
for real,
basically a half hour apart from each other. And so periodically we get together for lunch and we talk business, and it's just, I always learn something from him. I hope he learns something from me. I don't know. But one thing I love about Caleb is, so many people, they get in mind, oh, well, I'm going to start with whatever. A lot of people start with books, selling books because they're easy, or they start with garage sales. Okay. And then they say, and then I'm going to move on. And they think, well, I can never go back to books or garage sales or whatever. Well, Caleb started with books, and that's all he does now. He does books, right? And I can relate to that, because, I do a lot of different things, but my passion is garage sales and auctions, and like the original stuff that we all start with, right? And so it's really cool to hear Caleb's his perspective on that, because he talks so much about enjoying what you're doing, and I love that.
Yeah, and one of the things that Caleb said, I didn't know him either, and really enjoyed hearing him and learning from him. One of the things he said was to take advantage of the natural rhythm in your business and being really intentional about that. And I thought that was really good. Some people, we make assumptions that everybody is super focused on Q4 and that's their biggest quarter. And for some businesses, it's not. In fact, you'll see that with a lot of the people that are here in the summit sharing that for a lot of them, it's not all about Q4, which is really interesting. But we do have our ups and downs. Every business does. And so looking at that and taking advantage of that natural rhythm, he talks about being intentional about your risk, celebrating your ups, and also just really tightening your business and making sure that, I think that's part of taking advantage of the rhythm, you know, in those low times, really tightening up your business. But he was great. I really enjoyed what he had to bring, and I think you guys will too.
Yeah, lots of good stuff there. Okay, guys, enjoy. Hi guys, Jeff Clark, Sorcerer's Apprentice with my friend Jenny Hunt. Welcome to day 3 of the Q4 Hangover Summit. And what we've been doing every day is featuring just a few speakers. Yes, all the videos are available throughout the whole summit, but we want to talk about how amazing these speakers are. And today we're going to feature 4 more speakers. The first one we want to talk about is Matt Pincush. Matt is not only a good friend of mine, he is also the other admin of the Sorcerer's Apprentice group. And Matt has a really, really unique business model, but it's simple in its construct.
Mm-hmm.
It's complicated to look at, but honestly, one could do it. And Matt does it, and he makes us huge living off of it, and he honestly gets more work than he knows how to do. And so Matt, he just delivers some really, really good content, especially about how to use your downtime. Because for Matt, as with some of the other speakers, he said, you know what, Q4 is awful for me. It's like the worst time of year. So he had a totally different perspective on how he used Q4.
Yeah. One of the things, I didn't know Matt either, and I really appreciated hearing him and getting to know him a little bit. And one of the things that I really appreciated was that he has found opportunity around something that he was already familiar with. And he, not just little opportunity, but like lots of different little arms to that opportunity. So he has multiple income streams around the same kind of thing. And that was kind of cool to learn about. And that model can be applied to anything that you know, if you're selling, if you're familiar about something. But I appreciated so much his transparency about his business. And you know, Jeff, you reminded me that he just recently hit his someday pile during the slow months. So he really does talk about that. And the other thing was that I like how he shared how he organizes his inventory. I think that those are things sometimes we forget to talk about. And especially if you're doing fulfilled by merchant and you're, you know, shipping things, he organizes his inventory in a unique way that works for him. And I think that was really his theme, was finding out what works for you. It's not the same like processes and systems that you see from Perry and and Kim, and but it still works. It works for him. And so figuring out what works for you. If you've put in a process or a system that doesn't work for you, then that's kind of a bummer. So that's one of the cool things about this whole last 3 days really, is that you get to see such a variety in how people do the same kind of business. And you can kind of pick and choose, you know, hey, I want that sounds like me, or I could do that. So Matt really brought it, and appreciated all he had to share and how he runs his business.
Yeah, really good stuff. The next speaker I want to talk about is John Lawson. John is amazing. He not only runs a huge Amazon business, but he goes all around the world speaking about selling online. And he's just amazing. And I loved talking with him. One thing I love about John is at the core of his thinking is, you know, business is all about mindset. It's all about knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it. And so John talks a lot about mindset in his session. I loved his comparison of the difference between wisdom and hustle, and just he talks about the 80-20 rule and how to apply that, and just so much good stuff in his session.
Yeah, absolutely. He's funny too. In fact, a
He's
lot of the
great.
people are funny, but yeah, no, he's funny. He'll get a good laugh. He's very comfortable to listen to and presents well. But I agree, just that whole thing about mindset. He had some nuggets there. And also, I appreciate what he had to say about product placement and how he that just the real how data really showed him that it made a difference how he presented his product and his pictures. So I think that that's a real gem, just one of the many that you could pull from what he shared. So don't want to miss his session at all.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good one. Next speaker I want to talk about is Ryan Rieger. Man, I love Ryan, and his family are just amazing people. Jenny, you know him, you've worked with him. And the thing I love about Ryan is he has his priorities so well in order. You know, a lot of us in this business, we get busy working and we just think, oh, I'm just going to work harder, work harder. And Ryan sees how far he can pull his hands off to the
Mm-hmm.
point that Amazon business, he didn't even touch it. Like when I first approached him about speaking at this, he's like, I really don't do anything in my Amazon business, but he still delivered a lot of great stuff. And not surprisingly, since he's so intentional on, outsourcing things, he started a VA service,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks a lot about that in his session. Really good stuff.
Yeah, and I just yes to everything that you said. But one of the other things is that he's learned to be intentional with his
Mm,
business, and he has worked hard to make it hands off. It's not, I think a lot of times we get into these kinds of this business as, whether it was a shiny object that you found initially, whether it was, I just want to make an extra buck to help make ends meet, and it turns into something, or it's, I want to quit my full-time job, whatever got you there. At some point we realize that we don't want to do this forever, and we need to bolt it down, and that does take some pivoting and some shifting, and he's really done the work to put a system in place that allows that. And I love hearing how he's done that and how he's bolted down. And it's amazing what he's doing with the VA service. It's amazing.
oh,
There's been lots of different VA services over the years, but the heart behind this one is it really comes through, and it's pretty cool.
yeah, very cool. Good session. And the last speaker I want to talk about is my friend Amy Weiss. Oh my gosh, her session incredible. It's like we could probably charge a couple $1,000s just for
Yeah.
Amy's power.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, she gave us a whole course on taking your product, like your creative product, from concept to production. And that's so cool because there's so many different ways. You talk to people, there's so many different ways to do this business. You can do arbitrage, you can do thrifting, you can do the replens, you can do online, you can do wholesale, you can do private label. Amy talks about she invented her own product and then took it all the way through production, and she gives so many like golden insights in her session. I was just blown away.
I know. I have like notes and notes. I'm sitting here going through all the notes trying, okay, where's Amy's? Oh my gosh. So just notes from every session, but Amy just knocked it out of the park. I didn't really know what she was gonna be focusing on. And she did. She talked about not private label necessarily, but inventing your own product. And one of the things that she said was really to become a student of your own product. But the key that really got me, I love this, was to execute without fear. Fear holds us
Mm.
back. It always does. I always say, do it afraid. It's the same idea. Execute without fear. Move forward. Avoid distractions. Allow for pivot. All of those things. She just really, again, she had the whole course on how to invent a product. Every step to go through. It could be a whole. Her session could be a course, definitely high level, but every step she just walked you through and just dropped those bombs, those gems every 2 minutes, in her session. So
Yeah,
even if you're not looking to invent a product, there's a lot to learn from her about the processes that she put in place and how she keeps momentum with consistent planning. She's one that, everyone else seemed to focus a little bit more on having a season for planning. And she plans all the time and talks about what that looks like in her business. It's a consistent planning that she's revisiting regularly. So I love it. So much variety with everyone. And I'm just excited I'm excited to have shared all of this with you guys, but then we want to hear what session you enjoyed the most. And how this is impacting you, and just love your thoughts, love your feedback from all of the speakers, and what you learned during the summit.
Absolutely. So go enjoy.